And I'm just going to get real with it right now. Some of those things that those numbers mean to me are this. That alleged leadership in the United States did not care about the well-being of its people. Nope. That was demonstrated right off the bat when famous people were able to easily get COVID-19 tests, and the average American, you know, maybe you and me, right? It was a freaking you had to pull fucking teeth to get a COVID-19 test. Let me just tell you from experience. I never went into that story of mine. That might be a good story for me to tell. But you had to pull teeth to get a COVID-19 test. But yet you kept hearing about elected officials and celebrities that were easily getting access to these tests. But what I found is I couldn't get tested because I didn't have a fever. I had other symptoms that were being demonstrated, but because I didn't have a fever, nope, you don't qualify for a test. Okay. I guess my status in this society doesn't qualify me for a test. My status, my level of income, doesn't qualify for me for a test. And also, you know, I didn't have a temperature. That didn't qualify me for a test. The reason it didn't qualify me for it is because there were limited tests to go around in the United States. So some people who really needed them, I'm not saying I'm one of them that really needed them, but some people who really needed them were going without being tested. So I think one of the reasons, if the statistics are accurate that I mentioned, one of the reasons for that is because of negligent leadership. And it has to do with not taking action soon enough, not being proactive, instead being very reactive. Also, there was like no real strategy or plan in place. You know, the alleged leadership liked to have a press conference every day about COVID-19, but it was just all publicity stunt. It wasn't because they were actually creating change, like, it wasn't because they were actually positively impacting Americans' lives. In fact, there was a negative effect because of the misinformation that the alleged leadership was disseminating. So, it's just sad, you guys. It's real sad. Real sad doesn't even begin to summarize what it was. People's loved ones died. Real lives, you know? Real lives. There could be other reasons about those numbers, but I'm just going to stick with that one because I feel like, well, I think it was that one. Also, in the United States, every state, their governor got to decide what decisions to make regarding the pandemic. So what that means is not every state was locked down. Not every state had the same social distancing requirements or mask requirements. And, you know, some countries are all, like, have a more collective mentality. And some countries actually shut down the whole everything, you know. While we had, like, limited services, there were still essential workers that were still going out in public and working, you know. And we didn't shut everything down like some countries did. So, I mean, it's just as a country, we were not on the same page. So that's not just due to alleged leadership. That's due to like how states were making decisions versus at the federal level. I don't know. Call me crazy. I just feel like this should have been handled at the federal level, but at the same time, you can't really trust the federal level at this point. So I guess I'm just thankful that I live in a state that actually cracked down hard on it, because I would rather in this case like to live in a state where the governor cracked down harder rather than having fewer restrictions. Like, for example, a state like Florida. Man, the governor there, I don't agree with the decision making to allow like spring breakers to be side by side at the start of this pandemic. Like, that is wild. I don't know. Where's the culpability, man? Like, how can you not feel guilty as an alleged leader to not have restrictions like with something like spring break and young people, and when they're like side by side all up on each other, you know what I mean? Like, that doesn't make sense. But you know, I don't make these choices, so I think this pandemic has changed people's minds in some ways. Oh, another thing is that also did not help with these numbers is that a certain segment of the U.S. population decided that wearing masks was just something that didn't matter, and also they decided that going to work was more important than looking out for the greater good of the collective, because they were concerned about themselves. And look, it is easier for me to say because I didn't lose my job. It is easier for me to say because I have a job where I now work from home. So it is easier for someone like me to say that. I do get that. But no, I just don't agree with the people who decided to protest over wearing masks, wanting to go back to work, what's deemed essential work, da-da-da-da-da. It's like, look, I get that you have opposing viewpoints than maybe someone like me, and that's okay to have opposing viewpoints. Where the harm comes in is when you're actively choosing not to take action to help the greater good. It's just really selfish and deadly. Honestly, can be deadly, because as people I think have heard at this point, some people are carriers of the virus. They're asymptomatic, so you don't even know that they have it, but they can still pass it to others. Oh yes. So for people that like were opposing the whole masking, not work, or you know, wanting to go back to work thing, I don't know. Now I feel like I'm just rambling, but basically I just wanted to say this. I know that many people, maybe most people, say that 2020 was an absolutely horrible year, or just not a good year at all. I don't know. We don't know what's to come next. I want to be hopeful, you guys. I really want to be hopeful. I don't know what is to come, but what I do know is that it's better to look out for each other than it is to look out for just ourselves. And so I hope that that's one lesson that a lot of people have learned. I really hope that. I don't know though, because overwhelmingly I feel like in the United States it's just a very individualistic mentality. I feel like that we can learn a lot from a lot of different countries and cultures, but will we? I don't know. I just really hope the pandemic has helped change people's minds in that way. So yeah, and I also hope people don't view 2021 as a year that's going to be something they dislike like 2020. It's just people are going through a lot, you know. So many people are going through a lot. I mean, honestly, I think every person in the world, unless you live completely secluded from everyone, but I think every person or nearly every person in the world has, of course, been impacted by this pandemic. So it's been a really, really unique time, and I really just hope that we can get past this, and that we don't see people dying so much or at all. It's just so sad. So thank you to everyone who's doing their part, wearing your masks and social distancing, because it really does matter. Oh God, excuse me. I'm so sleepy. When I get home, I think I will go to sleep. I don't know if it'll be a nap or just go to sleep for the night. It sounds so amazing to go to sleep for the night. We'll see though. If you've watched this entire video, OMG, please comment below the taco emoji. And if you don't have emojis, please comment below #taco. Thanks for taking the time to join me. I really appreciate you, and I appreciate you subscribing. If you have not subscribed, please hit that subscribe button. Please also like, comment, share this video, and hit that notification bell so every time I post, you get notified. And remember, there's only one you.